Hi knitters! Welcome to the podcast! Woo woo! It is episode 116 today. I am your host, Devin Ventry, and you can find me at KnittyMcPurly.com. I'm Knitty McPurly on Instagram, and if you want to email me, I am Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. And today I'm drinking out of my Arkansas mug. Did you see that and know that was Arkansas? Arkansas is not one of the states that I just recognize, but that's it. Thanks, Tara. This is from my lovely knitting friend, Tara, who got me this mug. What did I want to say? It's like perfect knitting weather today. It's overcast, it's cold. It is the perfect Sunday knitting weather to sit around and drink our coffee and knit and talk about knitting. So welcome. Oh, subscribe if you would. That's the thing I wanted to say. Subscribe, click the thumbs up, do all that stuff if you are so inclined. How are you guys doing today? It's so good to be here. I love Sundays. It's so much fun. Let's move right along to progress and shop news because there is a lot of it. I have a lot of things that I want to share with you. First thing is that today, I took my watch off, is February 19th, and that means that Lent is just around the corner. So Lent starts on Wednesday, and that means our Lent MCal, Knitty McPurly Lent MCal starts Wednesday too. Did I say Monday? I meant Wednesday. So if you bought a Lent calendar from me, pop that baby out. And if you didn't get one, but you still want to join in, you can go to my website and buy just the pattern. It is a mystery knit along. It is a shawl. It is a, you can totally use scraps. You're going to use 40 10-gram minis. That's what came in the kit. But you can use 40 scraps if you want. That's totally fine. Like you could even stripe it. I mean, you could even make it all out of one color. I think it's great. I think it's super fun. And I can't wait for you guys to knit yours so that I can wear mine because I can't wear it yet because it's a surprise. So anyway, go pick that up if you want. Each clue is its own purchase. And if you buy all 4 clues, that's $7. So it's like $1.75, I think, per clue. So you can buy the clues one at a time, or you can get all 4 of them and just save yourself the trouble of doing that every 10 days during Lent. One thing is that the MCal does not include Sundays. Sunday is technically not a day of Lent because it's always a feast day. So the 40 days of Lent go from Ash Wednesday to Good Friday, exclude Sundays. It's actually like 46 or 47 days. I'm not sure how many Sundays are in there, but anyway. I did get some questions about that. When people got their Lent calendars, they were like, why am I missing days? It's because there are no Sundays in there. And I feel like last year I said that, and then this year I just didn't. So there you go. So that's the first exciting thing that is happening. The second exciting thing is that I have finished writing the Vesper Sweater pattern. That's super awesome. Very happy to have that done. And like I said last week, it is such a simple sweater that I've decided to put it up for free. And I think I'm really excited about that. I hope a lot of people will knit it. You can really get creative with your combinations, like we talked about last week. It's another sweater. It's another project that lends itself to scraps, I think. So that's going to be really, really fun. I hope to see a lot of interesting combinations. I'm going to be emailing my tester list. So I have a spreadsheet and it's a lot. A lot of you have volunteered to test for me. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. So I'm going to be sending out the email for testing that sweater in another week or 2. So if you want to test it, you can still sign up. Go to my website. There's a thing on the side. I think it says something like want to become a test knitter or something. And just put in, your email address and your name. Honestly, I just use the email address is the only thing in the spreadsheet. So that's the most important part. And I will be sending out an email about that. Oh, I forgot to talk about the sweater that I'm wearing. Oh my gosh. I put this on today and I was like, I think this is the first time that I've worn it. So I am wearing my gilded sweater. I have not blocked it yet. So it's not perfect. But we're going to be talking about yarn management today and color work. And now for this sweater, you're only ever holding 2 colors at a time, but you do have, some, I guess they're not very long floats. But anyway, it needs to be blocked. I need to block it. But don't you love the sleeves? I love them. There's no decreasing in this sleeve, and you do all the decreases at the cuff. Isn't it just cool? I really like it personally. But yeah, I think this is the first time I've put it on ever. I feel like I might have worn it with one sleeve once, maybe on the podcast, or I put it on the podcast before with one sleeve. But this is the very first time I've ever put it on finished. I finished it at the retreat, and I don't remember if I bound off there or if I bound off after I got home. I don't know, but anyway, there was so much else going on that I just didn't get a chance to put it on, but here it is. And I have my Grace and Wood earrings on. She had a flash sale this week, and I may have gotten some more. And I used the code Knitty10. So if you want to go up, I'll link it below. But if you like my earrings and you want to go grab some from her, there's 10% off coupon. So anyway, back to this, back to the Vesper sweater. I'm going to include a Ravelry tester code where before the pattern is published, with the code, you'll be able to put your project on Ravelry so that when the pattern goes live, people will be able to see all of the ones from the testers. So that's cool. Looking forward to that. As always, my patterns are not for sale on Ravelry, but I do put them on Ravelry, and then they just link back to my website and people can come and buy them from me. I will have yarn kits. I say the word kits, but it's really going to be more like suggestions. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to put that on the website yet for the Vesper sweater. But I'm going to have the Surrey silk and mohair and both Frankfurt fingering and the Freetown fingering weight yarn. Those two are very different. So the Frankfurt fingering is like a sock yarn. It's a hard wearing, high twist merino nylon. And that's what I used in my sweater. The Freetown fingering is totally different. It's a single ply, non-superwash. It's just amazing. It's very special, but also more delicate, so it's a trade-off. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of having one of those days. I'm a little, but am I ever really not like that? I don't know. Okay, so it's just a day of new sweaters. I mean, the Vesper sweater's coming out. Oh, the pictures came out so good. Look at these pictures. So this building that I'm standing by is in the back of my neighborhood. So I live in a neighborhood in, it's right on the edge of Fauquier County and Prince William County in Virginia. And it's in the back of our neighborhood is an old military base. And so it's this mix of new businesses, small businesses, and old buildings. So it's got really cool old buildings like this. But anyway, Gigi took these pictures and they just came out so good. Partly because she makes me laugh. We laughed a lot. It was really fun. So anyway, if you want to test it, send me an email, or don't send me an email. Sign up on the website if you want to test. And I'll put your name in the spreadsheet, and then I will copy and paste all of those people who have volunteered to test at some point and say, if you want in on this test, respond, and I'll put you in on this test. Because, for whatever reason, sometimes people don't want to test this sweater. They want to test, but not this sweater, or, not right now, or whatever. It's fine. Whatever you want to do is fine. There's a lot of people. So, if you can, great. If you can't, that's totally fine. The test knit period is going to be about 6 weeks because I feel it's a fingering weight sweater and it's a lot of knitting. It's on a size 3, I think, size US 3 needle. So yeah, it's a lot of knitting. But also I have been working on my new sweater, and we're going to be talking about that with yarn management today. So first of all, let me show you my picture. This is the one that I drew, And I drew it in Procreate. This is kind of just the vision for the sweater that I have. I don't want it to be, and this is just mainly an idea of the color work. I didn't really design any fit into it, but I'm right about here. I'm right above this third light green stripe. And I showed this on Instagram yesterday and people were excited. And my son took that picture. It's this one right here. My son took this picture and it just came out so interesting with the light. It's just a really cool picture, but oh my gosh, you guys, and you can see, so I've got a little bit of a short row section right here. That's in the back of the neck. But isn't it cool? So we're going to be talking about this today with yarn management, because as you can see, and don't look too closely, don't look too closely, because I think I'm a good designer, but I'm a mediocre knitter. Like I'm just, well, we're gonna be talking about it more with yarn management. I've learned a few things, but here you're working with 4 colors. You've got the green, the Black Forest Cake, the Fontaine, the Morel, and the Trinket, all through there. You're never holding 5 colors at once because that's just ridiculous. Who wants to do that? But here we have that green. So I was thinking about colors. I was thinking about the color used in this sweater. And you want to think of it like you have a black, white, gray, and 2 brights. So my black is the Black Forest Cake, which is green. And my gray is Bosque. It's that medium value color. And it can be any color. It doesn't have to be, you guys know, when I say black, I don't mean black. And when I say gray, I don't mean gray. Hold on. My son's going to a birthday party and I'm getting messages about it. Did you guys know that it's a 3-day weekend? I didn't even realize that because I'm a homeschooler and my school kids, they actually do get this holiday off. They go to Catholic school, so a lot of those Monday holidays they don't get off, but they'll get like big feast days off. But they actually are off tomorrow, so that's really cool. Anyway, moving right along. So while I was working on this sweater, and I did a lot, I got a lot done. And look, I have it in my bag from Ray. Isn't this so cute? It's like psychedelic Alice in Wonderland, but it's got all the yarn for the sweater in there. Even my extra skeins of Black Forest Cake are in the bottom. So this is a really nice bag. This is from Longleaf Bags. This is Ray. She was at the retreat. Oh, and while I'm talking about Ray, before I move on to my palette cleanser, I just wanted to tell you that for Mother's Day, Ray and I are doing a collaboration. So she is making a bag. This is the prototype that she sent me. Isn't this gorgeous? It's so beautiful, isn't it? It's got a handle. So this is the sock size bag, and then the bottom is like that. But we're gonna do a sock set, I don't know, whatever. We're gonna do a bag and probably a progress keeper, maybe some stitch markers and some sock yarn. And it's all gonna go together and be beautiful for Mother's Day. Isn't it so pretty? Oh, I love it so much. And she did such a good job. I mean, it's just beautiful. And this is like a linen-y, you can see the texture on there. It's just beautiful. So anyway, as I've been working on this sweater, I have needed a palette cleanser because when you're working the 4 yarns, it's a lot. And so I've worked a little bit on my socks. And look what I found. I found these like an hour after the last podcast. I hung them up in the shoe room. Why did I do that? I don't know. Like, do you ever just pick stuff up and move it and you're not paying attention, but you've done it? There we go. Oh, how nice. Look how good it looks. So it's a little bit of a short sock. And I did that because I didn't want to run out of yarn. That was my worry. But it looks really good, right? So this is how far I got on the other one. Pretty far. I'm almost to the toe. Let's see if I can get it on this sock blocker. But these have been really nice because they're interesting. The yarn is really interesting. And let's see if that will work. Might stretch it a bit. Yeah, it doesn't want to go on any further. But this is how far that I got. That's the heel right there. And I have really big feet, as you can see. I'm the large size. So I have to always knit a little bit more than everyone else. It's like the sleeves. I just have big feet and long arms. But yeah. So I'm really, really happy with how these came out. And I'm planning my next pair of socks. It's just so nice. Like, I know you guys probably all do this anyway, but it's just so nice to always have a sock going. And I've got it in my adorable bag from Susan, Delightful Works. I think, Susan, you and I need to do a collaboration next, maybe for like the summer, because this bucket bag is just the best. I love it. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, here's a random thing. I picked this up at Lidl. Look at this. It's got this needle sizer, all these stitch markers, and 2 row counters. For some reason, it's in baby colors. I guess they figure that knitters only knit for babies. But I got this from Lidl. It was $2.99. I was like, I'm gonna pick that up. Anybody shop at Lidl? I usually shop at either Lidl or Aldi, sometimes Walmart. But Lidl sometimes will have these little, and they have things like this, like they'll have little sewing kits or whatever. But I just thought that was such a good deal, $2.99. Okay, moving on. Topic of the week this week is yarn management. And I have a lot of things that I want to say about this. Particularly with regard to this sweater. Let me ask you this, how many yarns have you held together at once before? This is the most that I have done. So like I said, right through here, you're holding 4 yarns together up until you drop the yellow. So you've got 2 together here from the start of trinket to the bottom of trinket. That's all holding. So it's not very much. It's just a couple of rows. Same here. And here I was worse at it. Like I've gotten better at, the more, like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get. So here's what I've decided about this sweater in terms of recommending whether you should knit it or not when it comes out. Probably be out, I don't know, late summer, I hope, midsummer. If you feel totally proficient at 2-color knitting, you can try 4-color. But definitely do a sweater, at least, maybe a couple sweaters that have 2 colors at a time. Like this is a 3-color sweater, but you're only ever holding 2 at a time. Here it's just the trinket and the barrel, and then you switch to the trinket and the frost. So if you're totally proficient with 2 colors, you can switch to more. So let me show you. At first I tried just knitting the same way that I always knit color work, which is basically both yarns, if I'm doing 2, both yarns held on my left hand. So here's a little video of me working with 2 colors. Sure. So when I tried that with 4 colors, it was insane. Like it was just too difficult. The yarn kept getting tangled. And when I'm sitting on the couch knitting, I usually have a dog next to me and I've got kids all over. So it's not convenient for me to have my yarn cakes like, I just don't have a lot of space that's open to me. Like I have to be kind of buttoned up. So I had all of the yarns in the bag, but still, they were tangling terribly. So I got on Etsy and I purchased this thing. I think I showed a picture of it last week. And then this little arm can move. So basically you put your yarn, you know, there, and there's room for 4 in there, and then you close it. The biggest drawback to this is, do you see this play in it? See how it has play? The yarns would slide in there and they would move to a different section. Also, it's like a sandwich. You know how when you're eating a sandwich, you just can't, or a taco, you just don't put it down. Like if you don't put it down, you're fine. But if you have to go to the bathroom, or if you need more coffee, or if the dog has to go out, or if someone asks you to make them lunch, oh my gosh. Do you realize that my kids need to eat like 3 times every single day? Whew, it really cuts into my knitting time. So anyway, if you have to put it down for any reason, and you can just kind of slide it off and set it down, but then when you pick it up, inevitably some yarns have changed places. So this has been my most successful tool. I took at least 1 video of me working 4 colors with this when I was doing it. So I'll put that in right here. Just do it for a little bit of time so we can.
You want to get me the suit of clothes out for case number 684566735.
Your hands in my way.
You have to cut the audio.
Yeah, it's fine.
You have to wear them, otherwise I might get in a pack of trouble. I wouldn't want that. No. And then we can go over to town hall for that practice. Yeah. Better hurry, baby.
Oops.
You ready? Come on out.
You keeping your hands still? Okay. I want to show this tool on my finger.
I honestly believe I'd rather spend another 10 days in jail than to wear these government clothes.
Am I good? Just stop.
Now this is called either a knitting thimble or a yarn guide. If you wanted to Google it, it took me a while to figure out, what do I Google? Like, what even is this called? But knitting thimble or yarn guide will get you what you want. So I got this one from Etsy, and I think I showed you a picture last week. And another one that I wanted to try is this one from Clover, and I did order it from Amazon, but I think it's coming tomorrow. So that's why this is Yarn Management Part 1, because we're gonna talk more about it next week on Part 2, after I can try out this Clover one. Because the Clover one, the little sticks that separate the yarn go up above. It's like a closing thing like this, and the sticks go above it. So I think that one is gonna be a little bit better. We'll see. I also tried these things. I think this is called like a Norwegian yarn thimble or yarn guide. This is 2 of them. So I ordered a pack of 6 on Amazon, and they came 3 in this larger size and 3 in the smaller size. I took a little video of me working with these too. Oh gosh, the background noise is hilarious, isn't it? Like, you can totally hear, we're either watching Andy Griffith or Despicable Me, and it's just ridiculous. So I hope you enjoy that. I was gonna take out the audio, and then I was like, I'm leaving that in. It's gold. Done. Wait.
Yeah, they do.
All right, stop. So I didn't love this one. Actually, I feel like it looked in the video a little smoother and easier than it actually was. This you really cannot put down, because as soon as you slide it off all the yarn is tangled. I feel like these would be good for 2 yarns. And honestly, to get 4, I'm using both. I'm using 2 to have 4 spaces. They're meant for holding 2 yarns. So if you were holding 2, I could see that this would be a help. But with 4, I did not like this at all. I felt like it's just a tangle machine. It's just a mechanism to create tangles. I'm doing the podcast. They just go away. Okay. So yarn management. I felt like knitting with 4 colors was a little bit difficult, like any new skill, but I got more proficient with it. And like I said, this one was good. And when I tried the Clover one, I think that one might be even better. And they were about the same price. They were each about $6. And for the set of 6, I think I also paid about $6 for these 2. And I got these on Amazon and this on Etsy, and the Clover one I ordered on Amazon. And I even went to 2 different Michaels in the area to try to find that Clover one, because they sell Clover stuff there. Neither one had it. Even the giant Michaels over in Manassas didn't have it. I was shocked. Like, I looked even to see if maybe there was a place for it, and it was just not in stock. And there was not even a place for it. So that's like an online thing apparently. Unless, I don't know, I didn't go to Hobby Lobby or Joann's. They might have had it. So my floats, I'm gonna turn this inside out because this is how I roll. You guys know this. So my phone just turned off and I just like talked to this rectangle, inanimate rectangle, for like 10 minutes. All right, so I think where it cut off is where I was showing you my floats. They're not great, but it's not terrible. There's a couple, you know, they're long floats. Some of them I caught, some of them I didn't, but I learned a lot along the way and I got better at it. So, you know, it's all about practice. That's how you gotta do it to learn it, right? Okay, so I'll say it again. As I was doing all of this searching for a yarn thimble or a knitting thimble, Amazon said, "Are you interested in this book?" And I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. So this is the Colorwork Bible by Jessie Ostermiller. The beautiful model in this book is not her. Let me show you. So this is the lovely model, and this is Jessie right here. She's like a young mom. She's on Instagram. She is Knitty Joe, I think. Knitty_Joe, J-O for Jessie Ostermiller, presumably. This book is amazing. I was a little bit skeptical because of the title. If you're gonna call something the Bible, then it better be epic. And I really think that she has done it. This is the best knitting book that I have bought maybe ever. And I'll tell you why. And it's not even very big. So let me just go through the table of contents with you. So the first 2 chapters, you know, read them if you want. They're understanding color and yarn choice. Chapter 3 is stripes. Chapter 4, stranded colorwork. Chapter 5, slip stitch and mosaic. Chapter 6, intarsia. Chapter 7, double knitting. Chapter 8, brioche. Each of these chapters is like a mini class on doing these things. It's just explained really well. There's a lot of good pictures. Let's look at the intarsia chapter. So there's an explanation. There's a lot of pictures and diagrams and explanation on how to do it. Here she shows you how to tie a butterfly if you don't want to use the bobbins that are needed. This is a chart that goes with one of her designs called the mixtape tee, and she put a mixtape right on the front of it. And so that's an example of intarsia. And then there is a swatch lesson. So for every single technique, she gives a 19 stitch swatch that you can work up, and you can just start on the first one and just continue them. You don't have to recast on a new 19 stitch swatch. They're all 19 stitches, so you can do them all in the same swatch. And so you could go through and learn each technique and practice it on the swatch. And then when you get to, this is the one on double knitting. And then when you get to the back of the book, there's all these projects, which I'll go through during the Knitting Fantasy segment. But like on the double knitting, she shows you all the different cast-ons and the different bind-offs. It's just a really, really good book. This was published in 2020, so it's a new book, and I had never heard of it. Amazon just asked me if I was interested, and I was like, yep. So here, these mittens, well, we're going to be talking about all the patterns in the book and during Knitting Fantasies, but these mittens are double knitting, so they're double thick. And she gives tips on how to shape using double knitting. It's just a really good book. One thing that I learned in here after I did all of this, and I feel kind of dumb for not knowing this. I feel like I ought to have known it, but when in the section on stranded, she talks about keeping your yarn in the same position. And she goes through, and you saw the way I do it. I hold both colors in my left hand. And I really admire knitters out there who are adventurous and try other things, like trying a color in the right hand. I've tried it. I just can't do it. Like it's so awkward and I get so annoyed. So she has, she's got continental style right there. That's me. English style is both colors in the right hand and then the combined style. Combined makes a lot of sense where you've got one color in the left hand and one in the right hand. But here, and she talks about trapping floats, which is a good way to deal with those long floats such as you have in this sweater. But anyway, the thing I was stupid for not knowing is that you're supposed to keep the yarns in the same order. With 4 yarns, it's a little bit tough. But even here, like this is, and again, I haven't blocked it. Once I block it, it'll lay flatter, but you get much neater stitches. So if you're holding, 2 colors and you've got gray on top and black in the front, then keep them in that position. Don't be switching them. And I just don't think I ever really paid attention. Did you know that? Maybe you knew that. I never knew that. But if you don't switch them up, then your stitches will lay better because you don't have that, they're not twisting behind, which I guess mine are. Yeah, my floats they're pretty mediocre. There's all the tails there. But yeah, they're not amazing. But, I'm a flawed human being. So anyway, this book is great. I really learned a lot, and I think anyone would learn a lot, even if you already know how to do these techniques. Like I would have said, I know how to do stranded knitting, but there's stuff in here that you didn't know. So yeah, we'll revisit this during Knitting Fantasies. All right, moving along to comments roundup. I got a lot of really nice comments. You guys really liked the last episode, which is funny to me because it was kind of a mess. But thank you. I really appreciate it. I got a lot of new viewers. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for leaving comments. Jean Ellis, the super smart, interesting commenter who comments a lot, she wrote, "Am I the only one who would love to see your dye studio?" And my response was, well, I would have to clean up first. It's kind of messy, but yeah, I think I've showed it before, haven't I? And I've made some upgrades since then, so I will have to do that. Maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll show the dye studio. It keeps increasing because my business is growing. It's doing really well, and that's another reason why these patterns come out so slow, because you guys like my yarn and you like the stuff that's in my shop. So thank you for liking it. Thank you for keeping me busy. I appreciate you very much. Yeah, so I'll have to show that. I'll show that next week. And last week we talked about the Surrey silk and the mohair. And Jean says, it is an Angora goat breed that produces mohair. She said, I laughed at the description of Angoras as mellow. Almost every shepherd I've known who kept the tiny goats have commented that they can get through any fence that won't hold water. They're much more prone to get their horns caught, if at all possible. And she says, yes, she does have sheep, quite by accident. Last night, twin rams were born, hopefully the last of 10 more accidental lambs. 2 ewe lambs and 8 ram lambs. Having sheep has markedly changed the trajectory of my life. And in another comment, she explained that more. I couldn't find it when I went back and looked, but she said it's been a positive change. Having sheep has been great for her. But she's super interesting. I always enjoy reading her comments. Trish is a new subscriber. Hi, Trish. Thanks for commenting. She said, I recently subscribed to your podcast based on the recommendation of another podcaster. I believe it was Taylor from the Wool Needles Hands podcast. This was the first time I've tuned into your podcast. It was just delightful. Looking forward to many more. Awesome. It's always cool to find out that other people talk about you because you don't know about it. So thanks, Taylor and Trish. Thanks for letting me know. Knitting Posse is another new one. She said, just when I thought I had watched all the knitting podcasts, I found yours. Loved it. Can't wait to go back and catch up. Thank you so much, Kim of Knitting Posse. Susan Smith, who is the maker of this awesome bag, commented, Devin, I love your new sweater, especially the neckline. I think she's talking about this one. No, she's talking about Vesper. Talking about the Vesper sweater. So generous of you to make it free. This is a good question. Susan said, do you think it would be perfect for an advent calendar, meaning mini skeins? That is a good question. If you are knitting the Vesper sweater and you want to use mini skeins, you should do it, but each stripe is longer than the previous stripe up until, the bottom of the sleeves, which is down here. It's a really long yoke. And so, there's only a few rows below the sleeve divide. So they increase in size. So for your first stripe, you're not going to use a whole mini skein. So you could even use that color again. Maybe, I don't know. It depends. I haven't tried it. I don't know how much each stripe weighs. But if you had a couple of larger scraps or full skeins even, you wouldn't need a full skein unless you're going to be repeating the stripes. Like if you wanted all different color stripes, I think it would be awesome. But like I said, you just need to take into account that you're going to need more yarn for the larger stripes. And it also depends on the size. That's why patterns that accompany, advent calendars, and in my case, Lent calendars, are always one size because the sizing would throw everything off. She also said, she's done 4 color. She said she's done 3 colors and she didn't love it. And so 4 colors sounds a little scary. Let me tell you this. After you have knit with 4 strands of yarn, you're officially a superhero and you can absolutely do anything you want after that. Even 3 colors feels like nothing after 4. You're like, if I can knit for 5 or 6 rows with 3 colors, everything else feels super easy. 2 color feels like 1 color. 3 color feels like 2 color. It's just, it really puts you in another category in your own mind. And that's the only thing that matters, right? Okay. All right. Now we had a couple comments on traveling with knitting needles, and these are always super, super helpful. Lana Dubinsky, who is a lovely knitter that I met at the retreat. Hi, Lana. She said, another wonderful episode, Devin, regarding the So Here's What Happened story about the needles. I can totally relate. I have traveled to a decent number of countries in the past and have always been able to bring on my knitting and come back with it in the carry-on. However, this past December, I had my needles taken away from me when we were coming back from Mexico. Again, flying from Mexico to the US, 2 anecdotal stories about people losing their needles. So be aware if you're traveling from Mexico. She says, maybe because I got really daring and I had my ChowGoo red lace needles, which are super pointy, of course, but this is the first time that had happened to me, says Lana. Luckily, they were interchangeables, so I had the little metal key thingy with me, so I was able to take the needles off and still leave my sweater on the cord. However, it was still traumatizing and annoying. I had 2 hours in the airport and 2 more on the plane that I could have been knitting. Ugh! Next time we travel outside of the US, I'll either bring my wooden needles or a crochet project. She says, actually, I really do like to travel with crochet projects because you can stop so easily. Just secure one stitch with a stitch marker or a safety pin and you can put away the project quickly. You never get caught in the middle of a row. I feel like I'm always knitting in the round anyway. So I just, you know, slide the stitches away from the needle and go from there. Deborah Neal says, I have traveled through Europe, the British Isles, US, and Canada, and so far, no problems traveling with my knits. I travel with bamboo needles, though. I was told by a customs person to travel with bamboo on the plane and check the metal needles. Cross my fingers, this continues. So there's a couple of good tips in there. You know, use bamboo when you travel, which I will absolutely be doing. That sounds like a great idea, a great plan, or a crochet project. Both great ideas. Just in case, you know, just in case. Okay, knitting fantasies. Did you like how I included the sound this week? I forgot it last week. I just totally forgot about it. And then as I was like editing it, I don't know, or I watched it later, I was like, where's the sound? Oh my gosh. But your brain filled it in. You know it did. Okay, so I want to talk about the amazing patterns in this book. The first one is a stranded project, I believe. Yes, stranded. Many of the rounds use only one color. It's worked bottom up, fingering weight yarn. She's using Anzula Luxury Fibers Dreamy, which sounds dreamy. It's 75 superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk. So that's a colorwork project. This looks like if you wanted to do a first color work, this would be a great option because you're never knitting with more than 2 colors at a time. I think, yes, no more than 2 colors every round. And it's a vest, so no sleeves. It's a lot though, you know, as opposed to a 2-color yoke. That's always nice too, because then there's that large portion of stockinette. Is that the first pattern? Yeah. Okay, so there's the Highmore vest, which is stranded. Here's the side view of that. And you can get these patterns individually on Ravelry, but it's worth it to get the book because it's just a better price. You get all the patterns. This hat is called the Alpen Glow Hat, and it is a 2-color brioche hat. It has ear flaps, but you don't have to knit the ear flaps if you don't want to. She has directions for just binding off right here. But the ear flaps are cute with the little I-cord that hangs down. I would put pom-poms on it because that's what I would do. But it's just really, really cute. Now this is, I think, mosaic. These are the Woodstock socks. This has color blocking. Well, that's in Tarja really. Color blocking and stripes. But I feel like there's also mosaic in there, the polka dots. Yeah, slip stitch. So these are the Highmore socks. Very, very simple. She said it's a take on the old school gym sock. Sort of, kind of, a nod to that. But very, very simple. So now the Crossroads Mittens are double knit and stranded. These are really, really cute. I love how her lipstick matches the purple. But this is worsted weight, and she used Barocco Ultra Alpaca, which is 50, and you can tell it's alpaca, it's very fuzzy. But that's half alpaca, half wool. Just so cute, right? Here they are knit in other colors. Or maybe that's inside out. I don't know. Cool. I've never done double knitting. I feel like I could though. With this book, I feel like I could do the swatch. Okay, here we have a 2-color brioche. This is the Knitty shawl. It's kind of hard to see in this picture. You don't ever really see the whole thing at once, but this picture is a little bit better. It's really cute. Her outfit is cute too. It's very, I would have worn this in 7th grade, this exact outfit. Not in the color though. I would have worn it in, remember what year was that? That would have been like 1990. What was in 1990? Like the mustard colors and the olive green, which is back in now. Anyway, this shawl is really cute. It is 2-color brioche. And then the mod sweater has stripes and intarsia also with the color blocking. I don't love it. but it would be interesting to do. It is it a drop shoulder? Looks like, yeah. Yeah, the sleeves are knit separately. I don't want to give too much information. You should go buy the book, but you can see there's a lot of that color on the side there. Anyway, let's see what the other projects are. This one I don't really like, but it's interesting. It's an Aran weight cowl, and it's intarsia in the round, which is impossible. You can't work intarsia in the round because your yarn is always at the end of the row. How do you get it back? I don't know. I don't know how. Maybe if I knit this thing, then I would know. Maybe it's the colors I don't really like. I just think it's really unappealing colors to me. Oh, this is fabulous. The Snowbird hat and mitts. These are just fabulous. So cute. So this is stranded, both worked in the round, worsted weight, and she uses Hazel Knits Cadence. I'm not familiar with that, but here is a better view of the hat. It's really, really pretty. Looks like you're not using more than 2 colors at once. And this is a really smart way to do it because it looks, you've got a lot of color going on. It looks like you're doing more than 2 colors, but you're not. It's a good way to do it. For my sweater, I just wanted the rainbows. I love rainbows. You guys know how I love them. Okay, this one is my favorite. This is a bulky weight sweater. She calls it a jacket, and it is also stranded. Is there any mosaic on this? Oh, and steeked. Stranded and steeked. It's called the Yukon Jacket. Again, I love everything about this. I love the bulkiness. I love the design. I love the shape. Let me see where, oh, here, this picture is great. I just love everything about it. It's so cute. It's got pockets. And here she shows the finishing where she did like a piece of ribbon to finish on the inside. It's so pretty. This is the Yukon Jacket. Here's a close-up of the pocket. It's just adorable. I really, really like it a lot. Okay, and the last one is the Saffron Shawl. Is this mosaic? Yeah, this is mosaic, knit back and forth. So it looks like fun again. Oh, okay. I was showing oh gosh, there's another adorable sweater. I was showing the slip stitches on the back there. My phone keeps filling, like it keeps being full and it keeps cutting me off. Gotta figure out how to fix that. This one is fabulous, the Spark sweater. I just love how pretty it is. She does a lot of these kind of snowy motifs. This is a DK weight sweater and I love the way it fits. It's just, I just love the way it fits. I wouldn't wear it with it. All right, folks, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties, so I'm gonna have to cut this off. I do not have a so here's what happened for today. So please, I know you guys have stories because I heard some at the retreat. Send them to me. Put your phone up and take a video. Of course, you might be having the same kind of problem that I'm having today where my phone storage is full. I gotta get all these pictures off my phone. I gotta go put them on the computer. But anyway, send me a story, Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. It's Devin with an I.